We are live now. Let me check how this works. Hi, what's up?
Hey, Austin.
Afternoon or afternoon. What time is it in your place? Hey, any updates on the CR30? Good. Hey, yo. Like a rapper. Hey, yo.
Do we have BV3D here? Yes, we do.
Time zones, how do they work? You mean who? Hello, William. Where's Bryan hiding? Jason, where's Bryan?
Probably over there in the corner.
The corner.
Yeah, we will bring him in soon.
Hi, everyone. Hello. 10 p.m. here.
So you're probably in US? 10 p.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely US.
Yes. Hi. Hi, BV3D. BV3D will come later. 1 p.m. on Friday here.
1 p.m. on Friday?
Oh,
Probably,
Australia, right?
probably close to us. We have like 3 hours. We got 2 hours time difference.
Out.
Tracking out.
Yes. 11 p.m. in New York. Wow, Chinese.
Are you using a Google translator or you really typed it in?
I don't know, I have no idea.
That sounds really like native Mandarin though. It's 5 p.m.
Here is 5 a.m.
5 a.m.? Go get some sleep, man. 5 a.m.
Maybe he just wake up.
Probably.
How about our audience and voice?
Yeah, let us know if there's any issue.
10 p.m. in Chicago. Oh, yeah, Melbourne. Australia here.
That kitty face. It's kind of
Kitty
similar.
face, yeah.
The cat picture. That's kind of.
See that?
You're definitely using a Google Translator. you basically you're telling us you are American high school
teacher.
and they're teachers. That doesn't make sense, man.
I like to wake up early. Good.
Great.
10 p.m. here. So. Oh. Hi. 你们好。So we are here in Tokyo. Good. And today, it's our honor to invite BV3D to come to our live show to talk about 3D printer.
Which printer? The new one, the Ender 3 V2.
Yeah, so let's welcome him.
Let's welcome Bryan. There we go.
Hi,
Bryan.
Hello, 3D printing friends. Today on the BV3D channel, wait, where am I?
You are in the
Hello,
corner.
Creality. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
So,
There you go.
how's it going?
Great. We're doing great. We just did a brief intro. Just told you guys we're honored to have you here, Bryan from the BV3D YouTube channel. And actually, we already had a few audience. They were like asking, "Where's Bryan? We want to see him, drag him out." So, yeah.
Hi, tripod. And I saw Paul Cumber out there too. So, hi, Paul.
Oh.
Hang on, I got to make sure I got this leveled. I think it's doing okay. This is the actual first print on this particular Ender 3 V2.
Nice. I heard that you just like unboxed it probably like half an hour ago, something like that. So you just got this machine.
I started the unboxing yesterday because I'm doing an unbox, build, and first print video.
Mm-hmm.
So in the video, the first print is actually going to be the second print, but but I recorded all of the assembly steps. I finished that I guess about an hour ago at this point, and then I got the bed leveled, and I've got an XYZ calibration cube going. So I'm hoping that comes out well.
Sounds great. So yeah, what's the topic today? Do you want to tell us a little bit, detail what do you think about this machine and why are you building it? You see any major, difference like the design wide or different functions, different looking? Yeah, just probably anything you want to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, so the assembly is almost identical to an Ender 3 Pro or an Ender 3. Really, the only difference is the mounting of the screen and the belt tensioner on the x-axis. Apart from that, everything else seems the same, although you don't have to mount the power supply because it's already mounted in the back of the machine. Mm-hmm. On an Ender 3 or an Ender 3 Pro, you got to bolt it on the side.
Right.
But assembly it's still pretty straightforward. I didn't really have any issues. I like the printer so far. I like the interface on the screen. The screen did come up in Chinese, so I had to figure out how to switch it over to English.
Right. Should Google Translate it or something?
No, I actually just kind of poked around in the menus and I lucked out. I found the right setting. Now, I know I could have looked in the manual because it's got the screens side by side to show you the same settings in Chinese versus English, but it was a little more fun to kind of poke around in it.
Have you missed the drawer? There's a tiny drawer you can pull out,
Yes, I know. I like it. I don't have anything in it yet, but I know it's there. And I do mention that in the video. I've recorded part of the video. I recorded the introduction part of the video where I'm kind of talking about the printer, and I spend probably a good 10 minutes talking about that. And I really am excited about this printer. And then I kind of go into the unboxing, and after the unboxing, I kind of did the assembly steps, and that's as far as I've got. I don't do a lot of live stuff. Pretty much all of my stuff is scripted, and I've got a teleprompter, so I can I know what I'm going to say. But I've been having a good time putting this thing together. It hasn't been a while since I put a printer together. I put one together last week, and that video was out on Monday. But this one was a lot of fun to put together, just because I knew what to expect for the most part, because it's like putting together just a plain Ender 3 or an Ender 3 Pro.
Right. I just personally, I have compared to put two machines together, the Ender 3 and V2 version. To me, the biggest place I like the most is pretty much we hide the battery box to the bottom, so the whole design, it just looks so compact, and
yeah,
that's probably the and
it's a cleaner look without the power supply hanging off the side of it.
For sure. And I think we already got a few questions here. Tree Paws wants to know how long was the build?
Well, if I wasn't filming it and stopping every 37 seconds to get a close-up on something,
right,
it would probably be an hour at the most. It's not very long to build. Yeah. For sure. You know, if you take your time and put it together carefully, it's maybe an hour. It's not hard to do. You know, the wiring is easy. Everything's labeled. And there's actually, I think, a little less that you have to hook up on it. So as compared to like a regular Ender 3. I do like that the display has a back to it. The Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Pro didn't kind of have the back of just the circuit board on the back of that LCD hanging out. So pretty much one of the first things that anybody prints for an Ender 3 or an Ender 3 Pro is that little snap-on cover that goes on the back of the screen.
And the answer for Paul Kumber. So the build size of this Ender 3 V2, if I got it right, is 220 by 220 by 250. Is that right?
Yeah,
Bryan?
and that's the same build size for every Ender 3 ever.
As Ender 3, yes.
Now, I do know that on the, I can kind of see the chat. It's in very tiny text off on the side. So as Tina puts things up, then I can see them. But most of the time, I'm just kind of talking and looking at the printer. I will try and pay attention, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, cameras always get in the way.
That's okay. I've got the camera positioned so that it blocks my view of me, and that's fine. I don't need to see myself. I see myself enough. What was I going to say? I know I was going to say something. Oh, the glass bed.
Yeah.
My first ever experience with a glass bed was just a plain borosilicate glass plate that I bought for one of my first printers. And I never, ever got a good result with that. I could never get anything to really stick to it. Mm-hmm. And then when I got the Sobol SV01, it had this kind of a glass plate with that kind of textured surface to it, kind of pitted surface.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of like that one. Now, my favorite build surface is the spring steel sheets with the PEI or the PEX on them, the magnetically attached ones.
Yeah.
Those are my absolute favorite. I love those. But the glass bed with that texture is a close second. So I like that. I like the way it releases when it cools down.
Yeah,
so once it's completely cool, you can just kind of go and pull the print off.
Exactly. I would say I totally agree with that. I mean, it's always kind of hard, to balance when you some like surface. It's easy to stick on it, but it's extremely hard to remove. And the glass is more like a little bit hard to stick on it, but it's really easy to remove it. It's really hard to find the balance between two. My personal favorite is the magnetic too. Magnetic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was it a year and a half ago that the C magnet sheet came out for the Ender 3? Might have been. That was the real flexible kind of almost wavy wavy thing. So anyway, I had one of those, and it was okay, but it wasn't my favorite. One of the things that I didn't like about the C magnet sheet is that both surfaces were magnets. So the bed was a magnet, but the flexible sheet was also a magnet. And you had to line them up just right to make them stick. And sometimes they would still pull up on the edges and stuff. So I kind of like the spring steel sheets better from that standpoint.
Right. There's someone asking, is the controller and driver board is the same as CR6 SE?
I don't think so. I think the CR6 SE is getting the 32-bit board, and this is still an 8-bit board.
No, this one's 32. This one 32 bits too.
Yeah.
This one is? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
And can you print ABS? Oh, we are just testing now.
Technically, I can because I have some. I have printed ABS before on my Ender 3 Pro. I haven't done it on this one because I just got it built a little bit ago. But I've got a nice enclosure. It's not the Creality enclosure. It's one from Wham Bam Systems. It's more of a hard-sided insulated one. But I've got one of those. Although I do have a workspace up in the attic, and this is Texas, and it's hot because it's the summer. So I could probably print ABS without an enclosure up there.
And what is the highest printing temperatures? Can it print PETG?
Yeah, it'll print PETG. According to the spec sheets, the maximum nozzle temperature is 250 degrees C. And the maximum bed temp is 110 degrees C. I know this because I mentioned that in the video.
I put one band system on my CR10S Pro. I tried the Creality glass bed, and the inductive sensor didn't work properly straight.
Yeah, and that's a problem when you're using an inductive sensor, if you're trying to detect the metal through another surface. And it's not going to give you the best result anyway, because there can be variations between the height of the glass and the height of the aluminum underneath it. There can be some spots where the aluminum might be a little lower because maybe the bed is bowed down, but the glass is flat. And the inductive sensor is going to try and sense where the aluminum is. So it may think that the bed is lower at that point. That's why an actual physical touch sensor, like a BL Touch that physically touches the bed, is better for that sort of thing. So it's better. The BL Touch type sensors will work on any surface.
Thank you. And this one, why is the fan always off even if the printer is not printed cooling?
I think that's well, I think in the old days it was a safety feature. The hot end fan is just always on. The power supply fan, this is the Meanwell power supply in this. So the power supply fan doesn't kick on unless the power supply warms up. But one fan that's always on is the hot end fan. And I think the fan that cools the the main board is always on as well, isn't it? Or no? I think it is.
I would say I agree with you.
But it's not bad. Now, one thing that I did notice is that the extruder knob, it doesn't really stay put. I can just lift it off and I can drop it back on. Okay. And usually the printed knobs, they've got a little tighter fit to them. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's just kind of how it worked out.
I don't think that one is on purpose. Have you have you tried to print something to replace that?
Well, I mean, I've got similar ones on my other printers, but this particular one, it's got I can't really get that close enough to the camera because it's like 6 feet away. But it's got a brass insert in it. So the nice thing about the brass insert is I don't have to worry about it stripping out if I'm turning it too hard. But it also it lifts off fairly easily.
That one is just a bit loose though.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't think it's a critical issue or anything. No, I don't think this needs the TL smoothers on the motors because it's got the 2208 drivers. I don't think those are going to do any good anyway. Yeah. The movement, the motion on the printer is quiet. Who, me? Tripod? How many do I have? in this room, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got probably another 3 or 4 up in the attic workshop. 4. I have an embarrassingly large number of printers, and I've got another one on the way.
So you're a collector. You collecting those printers? Are you?
Well, I tell myself it's for the channel.
But I mean, I understand it's a hobby. Yeah.
It is, and it's fun. It's fun.
For sure.
I do need to. I mean, I need to find some way to actually put them to use. I've got enough that I can start a little print farm. I just need to know what to print. And then I need to have an online store to sell the stuff. And then I have to deal with all the taxes from selling the stuff. So I don't know.
Someone asking, a little piece of paper can fix the fit.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. I can actually just put a little tiny bit of tape around the end of the stepper motor's shaft, and that'll stay put without a problem.
Great. Thanks for that solution.
Talking about BL touch, will the controller and the firmware supposes upgrades by default? I
don't think that there is a version of Marlin where you can turn on or turn off the touch sensor, is there? It's either there or it's not, right?
No, 100% sure. You with the controller firmware support this upgrade? No, sorry, I'm not sure.
The controller probably will, because usually the bed probes, the actual switch activation is tied in where the Z in stop used to be. So when it probes, it's looking for the Z in stop to click in. But deploying the probe on the BL Touch, it's got 3 other wires because it acts as a servo. But there's probably a way to do it.
Answers. Did the BL Touch capable firmware for the NS3V2 and the BL Touch can connect directly to the BL Touch port on the member? Yes, correctly.
Oh, there's actually a port for it. Cool.
Yeah, we update the member of the BL Touch port. Oh, and Bryan, is it difficult to do the manual leveling on NS3V2?
What was the question?
I was wondering, is it difficult to do the manual leveling on the printer?
Yeah, I manually leveled this, but I have a little G-code file that a friend of mine made that moves the nozzle to the four corners. It parks the nozzle over each of the adjustment knobs, and then it puts it in the center, and it does that about 5 times. And so it just kind of goes around, and I can level it.
Right.
Now that actually would be something nice to have a manual, an assisted bed level in the firmware. That would be kind of a handy thing.
And
yes, Kieran, they're like Pringles. Once you stop, you can't stop. Once you start, you can't stop. That's why I've got so many darn printers.
Oh, and this one, if only we had a machine that could make plastic parts like that would fit properly.
Where would I find such a machine?
We may need to produce it. Oh, you see, was the actual chain chart over the ordinary and the straight?
That's a really good question.
What's the price difference between the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 V2. I know between the Ender 3 Pro and the V2, it's like $30.
Yeah.
And, and for that $30, you get all of the new LCD screen, the color screen, the X and Y belt tensioners, the silent board. The silent board alone on your site is $40. So this is a better deal over the Pro.
Yeah, you can say industry.
No, industry is $209 US,
okay,
and the V2 is $269. So there is a $60 difference. Yeah.
So 40 of that is the main board. 20 of that is the Meanwell power supply.
Yeah.
And then for free, you get the LCD screen, you get the glass bed, you get the X and Y belt tensioners. So
and the drawer.
And the drawer. You get the tool drawer in what used to be empty space. So it actually is worth it.
Yeah, I would say that sounds a good deal to me.
Actually,
the funny thing is, I never could figure out why the Ender 3X existed. It was like a bundle of stuff. It was like an Ender 3 with like some extra nozzles, and it was like $10 more than an Ender 3.
It's because someone needs the glass bed. They want to change the glass bed to the sticker.
Okay.
So I mean, sometimes here's what I heard from our marketing department. So basically, what we do, we frequently just listen to our users, and sometimes they just always got different kind of thoughts. They want to add something, and if we don't, they will like do a DIY by themselves. They print something out and they add it on. So basically, what we thought is like, yeah, why not? And we sometimes we do a minor upgrade. I mean, technically it's not an upgrade. It's like adding additional parts on it. Basically, we just do it, and it's not technically an upgrade, but we still just willing to do it. Just let those customers have what they wanted, even when they just unbox it and it's already there. They don't want to. They don't need to like print it out to buy somewhere and add it on themselves. It is kind of embarrassing. Sometimes it's like a non-upgrade, but we still need to figure out like a new name for it, right? So yeah, that's why we have some products. It's not like new generation. It's just some products in the middle between two.
Yeah, it's a different part number with a different bundle of stuff. Is basically what it is.
Bryan, Cooper asked,
is there any Z wobble?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know yet. I'm only about 15 millimeters up on my first print.
Yeah, big picture guy said, it is worthy actually. It cost me more to upgrade all my other industry ends.
Yeah, if you upgrade an Ender 3 or an Ender 3 Pro to the feature set of the Ender 3 V2, it costs more than if you just bought the Ender 3 V2 instead of the Ender 3.
Nice. And having all these options is nice, but in practice, you only use one of them unless you change your workflow. Is that true?
Well, I mean, the LCD is nice. I like the LCD. I know the belt tensioners, I've actually got from another company, from 3D Fused, I've got linear rails on the X, Y, and Z axes on my Ender 3 Pro, and those kits came with belt tensioners on them. Now the Ender 3, my plain Ender 3, you've got kind of the standard way of tensioning the belts, where you loosen the two screws on the idler pulley and kind of pry it out and then tighten them back. But I don't know, it's more convenient just to have the knobs.
Yeah, sure. And we actually we upgraded the motherboard as well. It used to be 8 bits, now it's 32. Pretty much, it's much easier if you want to, upgrade your firmware as well. So, yeah, and we changed
does the 32-bit board. Does the 32-bit board have a bootloader on it?
It's 32-bit board.
Good board.
Yeah.
A loader? You mean like the
a bootloader, so you can update the firmware via the USB port?
Yes, that's one of the changes as well. Yes. So
you can update the firmware by TF card.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
we will make a video later. Right?
Yeah, we will make a video about how to do it.
Okay.
Now it's we think it's much easier to do it. You just plug in the TF card and you put the file in. It starts from there. So not even like we used to do it like through the USB cable, right? Now it's directly through the TF card.
Yeah. So when it doesn't have when you've got the bootloader on the machine, you can upgrade the firmware via the USB port, and if you don't, then you kind of have to take the covers off and access that that little 6-pin header in there with the programmer.
Okay.
And then you connect that via USB.
I don't think you need to do that anymore.
Yeah, that way is a pain. Usually what I do, if I have to update the firmware and there's not a bootloader, the first thing I do is I install a bootloader. And then I can put the printer back together, and then the rest of the firmware updates I can just do through the USB cable.
Oh, and
differences between the V2 and the CR6 SE. Automatic mesh bed leveling on the CR6 SE, and the touch screen, and a handle, and a fold-out spool holder, and the spool holder folds in.
Touchscreen, yeah.
And for the printing size wide, I think the 6SE is a little bit bigger. Is it?
Yeah,
it's a little bit
bigger.
Is it a little bigger? Okay, I thought it was about the same.
So 30.
Let us just check.
One thing that I do want to find out on the Ender 3 V2 is whether the firmware is limiting motion to 220 by 220 by 250, or if it lets you address the entire 235 by 235 by 260.
That's a really good question. Actually, I don't have an answer handy. I will definitely consult our technical department, and I will.
I'll find out. I'll find out after I'm done printing, because I can just tell it to move and see if it goes. Yeah, but like the stock firmware on the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Pro would let it go all the way out to 235 and all the way up to 260.
Oh, and CRT has the auto leveling.
Let's check. Yeah.
Oh, and one question. Sorry, and the 3V2 or CR6, you search on price, features, quality, and so on.
Now there's some changes on the CR6 SE with regard to the way the frame is designed, right? Like the Z uprights, there's actually kind of a channel that they sit in a little bit.
Here.
So yeah, for the size wise, it's just a little bit bigger. So the build size of the 6SE is 235 by 235 by 250. So a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's really big.
Oh yeah, and Tripod points out that it's dual Z motors on the CR6 SE also.
Yeah. I hear you. My fully modded industry costs
$345. So minus the BL Touch, the Industry V2 sounds like a wonderful deal.
What all did you do to your printer?
Yeah. Get my industry back when I was in Dominican Republic. Wow. 250 directly from Amazon.
So how's the print looks like? Is the first layer went out great?
Oh yeah, well, it's sticking.
Okay, that's a good sign.
So
yeah,
that's good. It's probably about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes away from being done.
Gotcha.
And then I got to let it cool a little bit. But I mean, once it's done, I'll be able to take a look at it. It probably won't show up very good on the camera because I'm using kind of a translucent green filaments, my Alien Ooze PLA.
Triple side said, Jan 6SE also has dual ZS. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? When I was getting some information to include in my video, I was looking at the product page for the Ender 3 V2, and there are at least 2 places on the product page where it seems to indicate that there's a filament sensor. It's not. So the web page says there is, the manual says there's not, and my assembly of it says there's not.
You mean the V2 or the 6SE?
No, yeah, the V2, the product
V2.
page for the V2. There's a couple of places on the page where it says it's got a filament sensor.
No, I'm pretty sure there's not. No, there's no filament sensor. It has the.
No, I know there isn't. I know that it doesn't have one. I'm just saying that you might want to take a look at the page and
definitely
modify it a little bit because it says there is.
Yeah.
Definitely, we'll get that fixed for sure. Thanks for pointing it out, though.
No problem.
The 6 has runout sensor. Yes, I think the 6 does.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on runout sensors. I don't usually print anything that would take so long or take so much filament that I would be at risk of running out. So usually they get in the way more than they help me. Now I know other people have a really good use for them, but for me, most of the time they just kind of seem to get in the way.
Right. Actually, speaking of the running out of the filament, so I wonder. So I do see you have all the printers in your office. Do you, like, if you're doing a long time print, do you check on them, check on your prints, like occasionally, often, or you just leave it there?
Well, I mean, I'll watch them for a while. I'm still fascinated watching a printer print. It's
nice. Nice.
The fascination hasn't worn off. So it's for me, it's still fun to watch. But
right.
If it's a really, really long print, I'll just let it go. I mean, I'll look at it once in a while just to see how far it's gone. And it's fun to kind of stop and watch it, do the infill and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't watch it because I'm worried about it. I watch it because it's fun to watch.
It is. I agree. I mean, have you ever thought like putting install like a camera or something like that? You can just like monitoring all the printers at the same time. Like
I have a couple of webcams set up on a lot of my printers. I've got Raspberry Pis connected to them running Octoprint, and a lot of times I've got a webcam attached to those as well. Sometimes for monitoring, but mostly for doing time lapses.
Doing time lapses, gotcha.
So time lapses are fun, especially with there's a plugin for Octoprint called Octolapse. And instead of having like the twitchy time lapse that you normally get when you just kind of take a frame every 30 seconds or whatever, every time it finishes a layer, it'll go and it'll park the head off to the side, and then it'll take a shot, and then it'll come back to printing. And when it finishes the next layer, it moves the head back to out of the way and takes a picture. So you get like these really nice builds of a model. And it just kind of grows up off the bed, and the print head stays kind of off in the back when you're watching the time lapse.
Yeah, I saw one of that before. That's why so many people. The reason I asked because we did a review video of of our new products. It's a like 3D viewer, so it's a printer, and it's not it's not a printer. It's a camera. So it's a camera.
Okay.
You can use. It has the magnetic mount, so you just tap it anywhere, and you can set your own angle, and it just let it point at your printer. You can do the monitoring. It directly connects to the app on your phone, so you can check your prints anytime. It also has the remote control access, so basically it's wireless connect to a printer, and you can basically send a like G-code file from your phone to that camera, and the camera is actually connect to a printer. So basically, with that app, you can control, you can start a print, you can pause it, you can stop, you can move the axis, something like that. Yeah, and like a lot of people ask if that camera has the time lapse feature. I was a little bit curious, like why that is so popular. That feature is so because at the time we didn't have it, and now I can't get it. It is probably a great idea to add that feature on it. So you just make it like multiple uses, right? You can use it to monitoring, you control it. You can use it to film a great footage as well. Okay,
yeah. Adding a time-lapse feature to that would be really cool. You know, then you could just download the time-lapse and show your friends, for example. Hey, look what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Bryan, do you notice the differences in heating up time from the Industry or Industry Pro vs the Industry V2?
I've only heated it up once, so I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
This is literally the first print that I've gotten on this printer.
And something as too many stickers.
I got lots of stickers.
You see that.
And these garage stickers for Max.
Max HP.
Horsepower.
Oh.
I say every sticker adds 5 horsepower. Stickers make it go faster.
Jeez, BB,
91% done. Sorry, I'm excited.
Our biggest issue is the filament runout sensors for a Creality printer. They heated bed turns off, and when it's cooled, it can make the printer slide off.
Can make the print slide off. That turns off, and oh, I gotcha. Yeah, I would say. What do you think about that one? Does it happen a lot? I mean, your experience. Have you had this kind of scenario before?
I personally have not, but I know other people that have. It's also a problem with the same problem happens with the power on or the power loss resume function.
Right.
If the bed has cooled enough and it's released the print, you really can't resume it because the print's going to slide around on the bed.
Yeah. No, I mean, I personally heard some kind of complaints like that before. That's definitely something we are working on. I mean, I don't think we have like a good solution at this moment, but that's something we're gonna try like have a solution in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
I mean, I get why, you know, in the case of the filament runout sensor, I get why the bed turns off. It turns off for the same reason the nozzle shuts off. Because if you're out and you're gone for 6 hours, you don't necessarily want the bed on for 6 hours waiting for something to happen. You don't want the nozzle on for 6 hours with a little tiny bit of filament cooking in it. So it's safer to shut those heaters off.
Yep. I mean, sure.
Absolutely, Dutch. It is useful to improve the stability of the 3D printer by adding, for example, diagonal bars.
So Z-axis bracing, I think, is what he's asking about. On a printer this small, I don't think it's that necessary because you're not going to have a whole lot of flex on the Z-axis. On a bigger printer, like you get bigger, like a CR10 or something, you've got those Z-axis supports that you can add to it. So it keeps the Z-axis from moving back and forth up at the top.
And plus, this time for this V2, the design changed a little bit. We moved the battery box to the bottom. It actually helps the stability a little bit as well. So it becomes like heavier at the bottom. So yeah, it should be more stable, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to move my spool holder down to the front like I do on my other ones. I've got a little angled adapter that I print, and so the spool sits right about here.
Right.
And that keeps it low. It's still pretty much out of the way, and it keeps the weight off the top of the Z-axis.
Yes, I think that's a smart move. Yeah.
Bryan, what are your thoughts on the upcoming and the Core 6 XY coming out?
I think it would be awesome.
Either.
I don't know if my wife would let me buy one. Just because I've got like nine or 10 of these things now. It's done. First print.
Great.
Wow,
it's a dice? Is it like a cube or something? Tiny cube?
It's an XYZ calibration cube.
Okay. So it is.
So we'll let that cool for a little bit.
I usually just call it like XYZ dice. So.
Yeah. Came out nice. Feels nice.
I like the color. Yeah. You said that's like some sort of like transparent green filament?
Yeah, it's a translucent green.
Translucent.
It's called Alien Ooze. My friend Josh runs the Alien 3D UFO mystery box thing. It's a subscription service. Every month you get 4 filament samples and a project and stuff like that. But he's also got a line of filament. And so that's a spool that I had ordered from him. The setup to print time. If I hadn't been filming the assembly steps for the video that I'm going to be doing on Monday, it probably would have taken about an hour to put together. Just kind of taking your time to put it together.
Shipper said they always
That's true.
race.
That's true.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard like happy wife, happy life? That's always
Yep.
Right.
Well, we've got a little bit of overlap in our hobbies. There's some stuff that she does that I can print stuff out for her to use. So it works out.
Exactly.
It hasn't cooled enough to let go. That's the neat thing about these glass beds like this. It holds really, really well when it's hot. And then when it cools, it just goes boop and comes right off.
Yeah. And you triple have to keep the CFO happy at all times.
CFO?
CFO, yeah.
The Chief Financial Officer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that came out real good. I like that. I'm impressed. You guys made a good printer.
When you put it up, I will show the screen all of you.
I need to find out when my CR6 SE is shipping, or if it has shipped. Have those shipped yet or not?
Do you know?
I have no
CR6
idea.
SE.
Because they bought it.
Have you got like a tracking number, or you just the order number you got?
The order number.
I don't think I've got a track. I don't know if I got a tracking number on it or not. I'll have to go check back through my emails.
Okay. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of having an open 3D printer vs a closed 3D printer?
Well, that's going to depend on the materials that you're printing. Generally, the higher temperature materials, you want to have it enclosed so that the printing chamber stays hotter.
Yeah. I mean,
but you've got a little bit of a trade-off on a printer like this, where you've got the electronics in the printer. If you want to enclose that, then that entire chamber, including the electronics, stays hot. Electronics like to stay cool.
It also depends where you're at, right? I mean, if you in somewhere like really cold, like if there's no heating or accumulating, it's like it's really wet, probably has that like closed 3D printer. It helps print. I mean, at the beginning, I thought that thing is like a dust proof or something like that. Actually, it helps the prints to control the temperature inside. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bryan, Chipper asked, which is your favorite Creality printer?
Well,
the next
right
one?
now I'm gonna say it's the Ender 3 V2.
V2?
Yeah. Well, it's an Ender 3 Pro with some nice upgrades.
Yeah.
So I like it. I mean, the only Creality printers that I've had, this is my third Ender 3, and I've got an Ender 2 back here as well.
Ender 2.
Ender 2. That's
the old version.
Old one.
Yeah, it is. Well, Corey sent me that right around Christmas last year.
Wow.
So that was nice of Corey to send that.
Does it still print, or you just
oh yeah,
just as a collection?
No, it prints, but it's, you know, it looks like a piece of vintage laboratory equipment, and so it kind of fits with the steampunk aesthetic that I've got going back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done a couple of modifications to it. I added a parts cooling fan because it didn't have one. And I added a little bit of lighting to it as well.
What's the gray machine behind you has like dual screens? Is that a printer too?
What, this over here?
Yes.
That is an old it's an old voltmeter that mounted in an equipment rack. I found that at a thrift store. I got that for like $5.
Really love it. It's really good. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
It fits the theme.
Yeah, sure.
And Tripod's asking my pledge number. He's 91. I'm 190. I almost didn't make it, but I got it for the same price as this.
That's from Peru. I'm eating for my V2. I'm eating for my V2 to arrive. It's amazing. Now I don't need to upgrade my electronics.
It's amazing he's gonna eating his V2.
I think he meant waiting.
Yeah, waiting.
I just like those little typing errors. They're so cute. Like,
yeah,
autocorrect. Read it out. I'm eating my V2.
Good. And were you guys going to make more Korean toy 3D printer? Yeah, we have a plan. Bryan, with all your experience with 3D printers, where do you see 3D printing going in 5 years? What would be your dream 3D printer?
Oh, that's a hard question, though.
Yeah.
I hate questions like that because they make me think.
It's like I got to have a big picture, otherwise I can't answer that question, right?
I don't know. I don't know if in 5 years' time that they're going to be more of an appliance than they are a hobbyist machine. They may be closer than they are now, where you have kind of a whole ecosystem around a particular model of printer, where you've got like, say you need a replacement part or a replacement door handle or something like that for an appliance in your home. It would be nice if there was a 3D printer that you could kind of flip through an app and find the replacement part that you need for, say, a knob on an appliance or something, and just tell it to print, and a few hours later, you've got a part. Right now you have to have a good feel for how the printer works and how all the technology works. But maybe in 5 years' time, it will be more of an appliance itself, where you just make sure it's got filament and it's connected to the internet. And when you need a part for something, or you want to print a toy for your kid, you flip through the app and say print, and then a little while later you've got something printed.
Yeah.
Right now, if you know what you're doing, the app or the model library is like Thingiverse, or it's the Prusa printer site, where you've got all the files that you can download and print. But you have to go through the steps of downloading them and then throwing them in a slicer and making sure that your settings are correct for the filament, and then slicing the file and then moving the file to the printer and then printing it. And if you're not technically savvy, if you're the kind of person that just likes to download apps on your phone, for example, as opposed to writing your own apps, the 3D printers currently, they're not as user-friendly as they maybe could be, but maybe in 5 years they would be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if the 3D modeling can be like much easier, I would say a lot of people are willing to try it. They design it like to things they want it. They 3D model it like with an easy way. They print it out. It's supposed to be easy like that. I totally agree. And one more thing I would dream of is I would prefer the 3D printers can print like food. We have more choice of materials of filament. Like the printing burgers or the printing French fries, that would be nice.
French fries. About printing.
Yeah, that would be something I would be dreaming of.
How about printing some pets, dogs, cats?
Yeah, no, not live.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but food would be nice. Yeah.
Great answer. And it was waiting, not eating. Yeah, waiting. Okay.
Let go. Let go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah. Maybe I can use my phone.
Oh.
There you go.
Just
it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, you can show it to our audience.
Yeah, let me walk this over to the camera. Oh, I have too many wires attached to myself, but come on, focus.
Okay.
I'll do the hand thing. Focus.
There we go. Oh.
It's trying. It's focusing on my shirt. Stop looking at my shirt. Okay.
Stop looking at that cute unicorn.
It won't stop focusing on me. Stupid webcam. Here. I'll just do this. Now it can't help but focus on it. Okay, it can help but focus. It's going to focus on everything but that cube. Clearly, I was unprepared for this, so bear with me. Oh, stupid webcam. You're focusing on everything but. Closer. Closer. I'm sorry, my camera is.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I can see it. It's it looks like legit print to me.
My camera was horrible. Maybe I can switch over to the laptop camera. Hang on. Let's see what happens when StreamYard gets switched.
Sure.
And there.
There you go. And let me make you a little bit bigger. See if this works.
How's that looking? Is that coming out okay?
Yeah, that looks good. It's you know what? It looks like a cucumber too, and it's it turns out really delicious. I think it's like it has that kind of like candy texture, and yeah. So you don't see any string things.
No, well, it's kind of hard to get stringing on a cube, but
Right. Cool.
I'll run it through my regular set of tests in a little while. But that came out really good. I'm happy with the way that turned out. Let me switch back to my other camera. Now I need to adjust the other camera because it's aimed up too high.
Yeah, it takes time.
Get back down here where we can see the printer. There. Uh-oh, we lost Tina. Thanks, ComicsLegend.
Yeah, it is really clean. Good.
I like that. That's a good printer, and that's a good print. Now, I'm going to have to pretend that this didn't happen yet. because on my video, I'm going to do a first print.
All right. I mean, it's a yeah, it's pretty tiny. No, it doesn't count. It doesn't count.
So the thing that I'm going to print for the first print is whatever file is pre-sliced on that card.
Right.
And I'm going to load up the white, I guess it's PLA that came with the printer. So.
Yeah. Do you know what my first print is? And which machine was it? So my first print is that's like it's a personal hobby too. I used to build I love to build like a Gundam model kit. If you have heard of it. It's just a model kit. And one I chose because lots of prints, it's like all in one piece. But mine, it's like different pieces and you just assembled it yourself.
Okay.
And I personally choose that one because myself, I think like like if the print itself is not too tall, like that hates if it's like not too tall, you got like it should be easy to print out, like it should be success, right? Because I saw some like failure prints. It's sometimes due to either the support or the print itself is too tall. So I personally picked that one, so many pieces, and I glued it up together. And what I thought my next step, probably just polishing it, like sanding it, and do some paint on it. And for those like the different parts, it's really easy to paint it.
Cool.
All right, let's see. Yeah, if we have any more questions. 3 Pretty Nerd, high five from Peru. And ComicsLegend wants to ask, do you do any 3D modeling? ZB Rush?
My 3D modeling is limited to Tinkercad. So if I can make it out of cubes and cylinders, I can make it.
And here's another audience is getting a 3.2 tomorrow. Super excited. Do I know when the CR6 SE will be available for for pre-order. That would be something I'm not 100% sure. I would say just keep eyes on our official website. Once we do, we will have that info released at the first place for sure. All right, it's seems like time's up. Time flies.
Yeah, looks like it. Time flies
Great.
when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. We had fun. I would say, just want to thank again for having Bryan here. If you guys haven't watched his video or haven't subscribed to his video channel, just go ahead to do it. I mean, I watched, I would say at least 6 or 7 of your YouTube videos. They're pretty great.
Yay, thank you.
I would say, no problem. I really like your honest opinion and your thoughts or suggestions, just really helpful. And I can tell from your tone, like you're pretty professional and knowledgeable. So yeah, for you guys who haven't watched his video yet, just go ahead to subscribe his video YouTube channel and make sure you follow our official account, Creality 3D official account as well. And yeah, I would say that's about it today. And hopefully see you guys soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Bryan.
Goodbye.